I was outside of my mother's house and, running the streets when I was 15, 16 years old. Being a man that was following up, if you said you would do something, you did it, having some type of integrity. And at that age, being tough, and not being taken advantage of, because it was a harsh world out there and you had to be tough. But now, a lot of those things like being tough and all that, the line is blurred on that. It comes with maturity and it comes with knowing who you are as a person. It's not the bravado and it's not putting on a show for anybody. It's more about knowing who you are and knowing that you don't have to react to every little thing. Because those things mostly spawn out of insecurity. You feel you have to, almost like a peacock, right? Or you have to put up these things so people back away, but that doesn't make you tough, right? You can have a tough exterior and not be the toughest guy. A lot of times that happens, but being a man of your word and having integrity and having honor and taking care of your family, still those things are in place.
Jay-Z's father left home when he was 11. You can only truly understand what that means if you were an 11-year-old boy and looked up to your father and suddenly he's gone and no explanation as to why. The sense of loneliness, anger, abandonment, and rage at being left to figure out for yourself what it means to be a man.
For the most part, you learn how to be a man from your dad, right? He teach you certain things. And as a kid, your dad is your hero, right? There's no one stronger or tougher or meaner or whatever, stronger than your dad. My pop, I have memories of him when I was a kid. And all the middle piece of my life he was missing. For me, that took my entire life to resolve. It didn't take till the year he died for me to really let that go. So imagine, right? So from 12 years old till I was 35, 6, holding on to that anger and having to deal with that, and that affecting my relationships further, right? Because once you felt that type of pain, you don't ever want to let anyone that close, because you don't ever want to experience that sort of pain again. It's the worst sort of pain. The person that you love is no longer in your life anymore, so you don't want anyone to ever get that close again. Once me and my pop, before he passed away, had a conversation, and I was able to tell him everything that I felt, everything that was on my mind. I was able to let all those feelings go. Like really, it was like the weirdest thing. And it was so perfect how it happened. Not perfect that he, in the sense that he's not here anymore, but had he passed, before I got a chance to have that conversation with him, who knows how I would be emotionally still, So, some kind of way, I got to have that conversation with him after 25 years or whatever, and he passed a month later, The latter part of my life, the feeling that when I think about him is more freeing than sadness.
Hip-hop is a force in the world. I realized that over 20 years ago when the Pillsbury Doughboy jumped off the can and started rapping. Hip-hop, like all art, holds up a mirror to society and shows us who we are and how we are evolving. It provides a voice for people who might not otherwise have their voices heard. Jay-Z is holding up a mirror for a lot of people, and what I realize is that it doesn't matter whether I agree or you agree with every message. It reflects what many people are thinking and feeling, and that's why we all need to pay attention to what he has to say.
Only way we can continue in hip-hop as we pay respect to the past. So I had to pay respect to the past so I can continue on to the future.
I have a very interesting take on the cultural impact of hip-hop, and it's a strong one, so I just want to prepare people for that at home. I think that hip-hop has done more for racial relations than most cultural icons, and I say Martin Luther King because his dream speech we realized when President Obama got elected. But the impact of the music, this music didn't only influence kids from urban areas, it influenced people all around the world. People listened to this music all around the world and took to this music. And racism is taught in the home. I truly believe that racism is taught when you're young. So it's very difficult to teach racism when your kid looks up to Snoop Doggy Dogg. And if you look at clubs and how integrated they had become, before people partied in separate clubs. There were hip-hop clubs and there were techno clubs, and now people party together, and once you have people partying, dancing, and singing along to the same music, then conversations naturally happen after that, right? And then within conversations that we all realize that we're more alike than we're separate. I think what hip-hop has to do is become the voice of a generation, be it a younger generation or older generation. In order for hip-hop to survive, we have to expand the genre, because hip-hop was always viewed as a young man's game. So a lot of time guys, when they became 30 years old, they're still trying to make records like they're 15 because that's where the white hot spot was, where you were relevant and where records sold. But now, as we become a legitimate genre of music, and if we're gonna last this test of time, we can't be considered as a niche genre of music. It has to be a music that's centered around something, right? Some type of truth and some type of emotion and some type of revolution or some type of love. The next generation of artists will determine whether it will extend beyond and just become music.
The point that impressed me the most about this masterclass was when Jay-Z spoke about learning from his failures and no longer chasing after success, but following his truth. And in doing that, he's become one of the most successful people in the country. And that's a lesson for all of us. Find your own truth and follow it.
Fear not when, fear not why, fear not much while we're alive. Life is for living, not living uptight. See it somewhere up in the sky. Fear not die, I'll be alive for a million years. My lies are not for legends, I'm forever young. My name shall survive. I believe that there's one God. I don't knock anyone's religion because, however you find God, that's a fantastic thing. But I think religion has done more to separate people than bring them together. I think, the people that are reading the Quran and people that are reading the Bible are really reading about the same person. When I think we're all praying to one God. I don't know how else to explain this sunset and how if I get a cut, a scab forms, and how my body is like this computer that reacts to movement, how my eyebrows is made to keep sweat from going in my eyes, and how everything works so perfectly. No one can tell me that two planets crashed and these things happen. It's very hard for me to believe that. I believe that everything that happens in life is there to build character, to be learned from, is some type of energy returning back to you. Everything that I've, based my life upon, has worked out that way for the most part, but I don't know. One day, my nephew passed away in a car crash. I really can't figure out that day. He's a young kid, like beautiful kid. Just the most beautiful, respectful kid. And I can't really apply that to anything. I believe that things happen for a reason, but I can't apply that against anything. That's just the way of the world, and that's how it is. I think the most important lesson for me would be just be true to yourself. You know, it sounds like a very simple thing to do, but it's not. It's not simple to do with all the pressures to succeed and all the pressures to, once you succeed, to stay there. You have a belief in yourself, and sometimes, in most cases, it's almost a naivete about who you are and what you can contribute to the game. Rapping my friend's story and our stories together, and you know, taking it beyond the level of this is what we did, but this is what we felt and why we were doing this, and this is how it affected us, and this is why we was doing what we thought we had to do at the time. I'm trying to find that truth and trying to tap into something really important, as well as have fun. It's not always like, you know, this responsibility of trying to be great every second. Sometimes I just want to be silly. Sometimes I just want to be wrong. Sometimes I want to be provocative, you know, 99 problems, you know, I want to push buttons. Belief in oneself and knowing who you are, I mean, that's the foundation of everything great.
Only rapper to rewrite history without a pen, no ID on the track, let the story begin. This is anti-auto-tune, death for the ringtone. This ain't for iTunes, this ain't for sing-alongs. This is Sinatra at the opera, bring a blonde, preferably with effect, to sing a song.
Yeah, I used to have a nightmare when I was young all the time about running away and never being able to quite get away. I don't have that dream anymore.
This is what I think we can all learn from him. When the odds are against you and you have the depth of clarity to listen to your own instincts and follow what is true for you, you may not become a Jay-Z, but you will become the best that you can be.